I'm so excited to introduce to you guys somebody that I love. His name is Jeff Gilbert. He's a multi-platinum band, traveled the world playing in a band, and decided that his purpose and his life mission was to work with Save the Storks. And Save the Storks, I shared with you all earlier, they give women resources and tools to be able to go ahead and decide on what that next step is and what makes sense for them. We are pro-women, and what we're about is bringing these resources, these tools to women so that they can live their best life. So I am honored to introduce to you our title sponsor, our friends. They mapped this out. They worked with us. You can see them out at the exhibit hall. You can meet with them when they're speaking. But don't miss this opportunity to be able to go ahead and spend time with them. They're doing big, big things in the world. So Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle.
So I got to tell you guys, we're backstage, and I'm talking to Jeff's wife. And so how long have you guys been married? And they're, 9 years. And you got a 2-year-old?
4-year-old.
4-year-old and 6-year-old.
Yeah.
So I said, we'll be your older brother and sister, my husband and I, so we're celebrating 20 years. So I said, don't miss out on that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it goes like that.
Yeah, it already feels like it. Totally already feels like it. So when can we drop the kids off? Just let me know.
Yeah, well, as long as we could drop them back off, then we're fine.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Ladies, how are you? Oh my goodness. It has been quite an adventure planning this event. I'm sure it has been for you too. You guys doing well? Yeah, you getting a lot out of this so far? Awesome. Awesome. You know, there's a question that's been going over my brain for a couple years now, and I want to ask you this question. And that question is, where were you? Where were you? For some, that can be a difficult question. For others, that can be a nostalgic question going down memory lane. But before I get into it, one thing that I want to express to every single one of you individually is you may have signed up for the California Women's Conference. You remember where you were when you did it. You remember what you were feeling when you knew you needed to be here. You knew you wanted to come to get resourced and educated in order to further your goals, to further your career perhaps, to crush it at what you do best. And I know that's exactly what's going to happen. In fact, I believe that I am in front of an entire room full of empowered women who are making really solid choices for their life. So I question, where were you? Let's go back a year. Where were you a year ago? Maybe 5 years ago. Let's even go back 10 years ago. And I promise you this is going to be quicker than a 10-year talk. So 10 years ago for me, my job looked something like this. This is what I did for a living. I don't really look like that anymore, do I? It's not really what I do for a living anymore, but that's what I was doing. But 9 years ago, actually 10 years ago as well, this whole life changed for me. My life was somewhat, I guess you could say, ruined. The reason why is because, yes, I met a girl. My life was ruined. And that girl is now my wife. And somehow, in some way, I was able to convince this incredible woman to marry me. Actually, do you mind if I show you a photo of our happiest day of our life? Here's me and my blushing bride on the happiest day of our life. 9 years ago this July. That's where I was 9 years ago. Now, here's the thing about marriage and family and things like that. You see, marriage, it completely changes the trajectory of your life. Whether you like it or not, it's what you sign up for. And what changes your life even more is when you start to have kids. And so for us, we started out a couple years after we got married with our son. His name is Slater. He's 6.5 years old. actually have my daughter Stevie, who's 4.5, and then our daughter Winnie in the middle. See, I love speaking for women's conferences because when I show pictures of my kids, you get that reaction, you get that ah. When I speak at men's conferences, you just hear like a burp or like a sniff. You know what I mean? There's really nothing more than that. But man, these kids have rocked my world. This is the way I like to put it. My boyhood dreams were completed when I got to travel the world playing music for a living. That is where my boyhood dreams were completed. My manhood dreams began when I married a woman who's stronger than me, smarter than me, way prettier than me, and someone that I could really count on to be able to set some goals for life that we knew would take a lifetime to be able to complete, and part of that is being parents. And so I was out on the road so much. I was sick and tired of feeling like I was going to be missing out on so many opportunities. Even like Michelle was saying, how it just goes so fast. And so in one single day, I made the choice. Where was I? I was in San Diego, California, and I called my bandmates up and I said, guys, it's done. I can't do this anymore. I want to be a dad that's around. I want to be a dad that's available. And it's pretty incredible what happened for us because that sent me into a whole... Oh, I'm so sorry. That was not supposed to be there. I haven't slept in 6 years, so that wasn't supposed to be there. You know, I know for a fact that when you take the time to really look toward the future and look at all your options and to say, what do I want most out of my life? What fulfills me the most? When you take the time and you're able to consider the resources in front of you and you're able to connect with the community around you, hopefully a community that's strong, that can speak into your life, maybe some mentors in your life, maybe some family members that you trust, people that you care about can speak into your life. I knew that I needed to leave my band, and that sent me into a whole world of philanthropic work around the world, and I got to start traveling to different countries like Rwanda here, where a team of just 6 of us were able to work with an organization that was helping pull families out of extreme poverty around the world. And in 3.5 years, we were able to see nearly 1,000 communities pulled up out of extreme poverty. Communities that didn't have access to clean water, communities that didn't have access to health care, communities that didn't even have access to school or education. We were able to go in and help these communities change the way they were living in order for them to have access to those vital things. Now, the question that started to be asked to me a lot when I was speaking about what we were doing around the world in 26 different countries around the world was, what about the most vulnerable families right here in our own country? What are we doing about those families? And initially my reaction would always be, man, the most vulnerable families already have access to clean water. They already have access to health care and education and anything else immediately in those spectrums. But then I met an amazing young man, a guy just around my age who had a dream, he had a vision, and he said, Jeff, I got to tell you, do you know what the pregnancy statistics are in America? And I said, oh, Joe, I don't know if I want to get into this conversation. This is a tough one to get into. And he goes, no, Jeff, I really want you to hear me out. I said, okay. And he said, do you know that in America, 1 in 3 women will terminate their pregnancy? 1 in 3 women. I said, no, I didn't know that. And then he said, did you know that 3,000 abortions are performed every single day in our country? I said, didn't know that either. And then he started to go down some statistics with me, and he told me one that really blew my mind. He said 64% of women who have abortions feel pressured by others to do so. And 84% of women who have had abortions said they received insufficient counseling prior to making their decision. And I said, that isn't right. In a world of choices, I feel like there should be multiple options when choices are available. If you're going to say choice, let's look at all of our options instead of just one. And so the dream began for Joe about a year before I met him. He said, Jeff, what we're able to do is we're able to reach that 84% who feel like abortion is their only choice, even though they don't want that to be their choice. And I said, I can get into that. I'm into that for sure. And he said, did you know that 75% of women who get abortions fall below the poverty line in America? So that is a huge determination or a huge factor, a huge reason why this is happening. So this is what we decided to do. We said, what if we could have an ultrasound vehicle that could go and reach women who need better resources, who need health care, who need support, who need counseling? What if we can meet them where they're at? We're not going to ask them to come to us, but we want to go to them. And that's when the Save the Storks stork bus was invented. Not even 5 years ago. These buses are outfitted with ultrasound technology. They're outfitted with medical technology that can sit down with anybody who is in need for absolutely no cost, and we can walk through all of their legal options with them in order to make sure that they have the best education, that they have the best resources, and that they have a community surrounding them that actually want to help and not just isolate them into any kind of decision on their own. The way I like to say it is, when you're going through a crisis, when you're going through something difficult, you just need somebody to slow your thoughts down. And that is exactly what we get to do at Save the Storks. Now, when we work with women who say, yes, I want to continue my pregnancy, but I don't feel like there's any possible way I can, this is how you can do it through all of these free services that you see on the screen right here at absolutely no charge. And even when you see things like baby supplies, I'm talking brand new cribs, strollers, high chairs, car seats, diapers, formula, clothing, you name it, we've got it. And it's all through our local centers and clinics all over the nation who operate these stork buses. I'm excited to tell you that in just 3.5 short years since I've come on board, we have 34 active stork units, stork buses around our country reaching women. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. It's been incredible to see. We have 60 contracts total, and we're hoping to have those 60 buses active by the end of the year. Now, this is what I want to ask you again. Where were you? The reason I'm asking you that question is because the very first time that I ever spoke about Save the Storks, I got off the platform and I started walking out, and we had a booth out in a courtyard. And some extremely strong individual grabbed my shoulder and spun me around like a top. And before I looked into the eyes of this behemoth of who I thought was going to pummel me, I looked up to see that nobody was there. And then I looked down to see a woman standing probably no taller than 5 feet tall. And with tears in her eyes, she pointed at me and she said, "Where were you when I needed you?" So I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Sherry." I said, "Sherry," grabbed her hands. I said, will you tell me your story, please? I need to hear your story. And she said, 20 years ago, I was 20 years old, and my boyfriend and I got pregnant. The moment he found out, he said that if I didn't get an abortion, he would leave me. I told him that I was scared, so he left me anyways. All of my friends told me that they would take me down to the abortion clinic. They didn't offer me anything else. I knew in my heart that it's not what I wanted, but I didn't feel like I had any other option. So I went down, and she walked me through her process of how broken she was in that moment, feeling like she just wanted somebody to help her. She said, "Jeff, if that stork bus was available, I would have run to you. I would have run to you." I believe Sherry is part of that 84%. We are here for that 84%. We are not here to judge anybody. We are not here to isolate anybody. We are simply here to empower women to make an educated decision based off their current circumstances. And we do it completely free of charge. But you say, "Jeff, how do you do it free of charge? How does that even work?" Well, because we've been able to reach nearly over 4,000 women through this, we've been able to do it through what I like to call a micro-residual donor platform. I have some friends with me, actually Save the Stork staff and volunteers in this room. If you guys would stand up right now, they have your golden ticket. One thing I like to say, ladies, is empowered women empower women. I'm going to say it again. Empowered women empower women. I believe every single one of you woke up today empowered. I believe every single one of you woke up today saying, I know what I want to get out of this conference, but I'm telling you right now, you are the influencer in this room, not me. You are the one that can absolutely revolutionize the world, and that's by taking care of one person. Now, this isn't nearly as much as you think it is. What it is a $30 per month commitment, and when you become a $30 per month Stork partner, we're able to reach and serve one more woman. We're able to empower one more woman to be able to do what she needs to do based off of the services that we can offer her. If you want to become part of Save the Storks and to see what we're doing, I just simply want you to raise your hand. So in the count of 3, I have my volunteers all through this room. At the count of 3, I want you to raise your hand nice and high. 1, raise your hand nice and high. 2, 3. Let's see as many hands as possible raised. I'm not telling you that it's a financial commitment by raising your hand. I'm telling you that this is your golden ticket right now. This is what I want to see happen at the California Women's Conference, is for women to empower women. Whether you swing on the pro-choice side of the discussion or the pro-life of the discussion, we are in the middle. We call ourselves the third choice. That is who we are. We're the ones in the middle saying we simply want to serve somebody to give them the best education and resources they need to make their decision for themselves. That is who we are. And the thing is these buses are not cheap. They cost about $125,000 to build. I'm sure there's somebody in here that could buy one right now if they wanted to, and that would be saving hundreds and hundreds of women from all kinds of issues that they may have gone through. And it's at least serving and educating many, many, many women who need support and education. Inside that packet is a story of a gal named Valerie. Valerie boarded our very first Stork bus, and she has a powerful story that I want you to read inside there. Valerie didn't think that she had any other options, and because a Stork bus was there, her twin girls are alive and well today, and Valerie is flourishing in her career. She's doing phenomenal in her job and her life. It's an amazing story. So the last thing I'm going to tell you is walk you through the registration card that's inside that packet. Keep your hands nice and high. I don't want a single person to miss this opportunity. Please do not miss out on what this is. This is life-changing work. This is where we need to be as a nation. So please don't miss out. If you can raise your hand right now. When you raise your hand and you receive a packet, there's a registration card inside. I see a hand over here. Awesome. There's a registration card inside. If you can just fill that out and return it back to the Save the Storks booth. We have a big, massive booth over in Exhibition C. And I want to make sure that we can connect with you. I would like to give you a gift just to offer you. We have some really great stuff over there at our Stork booth. I'd love to give you a gift just as a thanks for signing up with us and being a part of who we are and what we're doing. And listen, if you can't make a financial commitment today, I understand that. But if you just want to fill out that top portion, we can stay in touch with you and continue to share with you what is happening through our organization. But I want to thank you so much for allowing us to be here. We are so grateful that we get to be at the California Women's Conference. God bless you all very much.
Thank you, Jeff.